Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to upgrade the batteries. This is the original battery that came on it, not the original one from the factory, obviously. That is a Walmart battery, and actually it started up the truck just fine. But I am afraid in the cold we're going to need more cranking amps, so I have upgraded to 2 Walmart batteries. I spent a lot of time looking at batteries, and they have a 3-year non-prorated warranty, which is awesome. There's Walmarts all over the country, which is great because we're going to be traveling, and they're cheap, and they have a lot of cranking amps for the size, so that's why I went with Walmart. We'll see. They're cheap, so you know, it's not the end of the world if they don't last a long time, but I know I can get them warranted up to 3 years, just walk in and replace them, so that is pretty awesome. A lot of the AGMs couldn't even do that at way more expensive prices. So they are heavier, I believe, than AGM. They're not going to potentially last as long as AGM, and the vibration might damage them more than AGM, but that's what we're doing right now because we're not made of money. So this is all the stuff we're going to put on, and let's just get started and I'll walk you through it as best I can. First, we're going to add these little terminal protector rings. I believe these have stuff on them that will absorb the acid, so they'll be less likely to corrode. Second, we're going to put some dielectric grease on all the terminals, and then put the terminals on there. Terminal posts, I don't know what you want to call them. These two are the original from the Unimog. I just cleaned these up. They're pretty nice. And then these two I just picked up at a local truck electric place. So let me get those on. Alright, terminals are on. Negative, positive, negative, positive. We're going to wire these up in parallel. So that's where these two wires came in. I had these made at a local electric place. Same place I got these terminals. One more thing on the size of the batteries. That was a huge undertaking, figuring out which size was going to fit. So basically I just went with the biggest cold cranking amps I could find that would actually fit in the box. So these are both 750. They're group 34. They fit just fine with a little bit of room on each side to spare. Next up, we're going to take this is the ground wire that runs from the negative battery terminal to the frame. I've already cleaned it up, wire brushed everything. You can see we've got this gap here. I'm going to take the shrink tubing, and put it on the ends there. And we're also going to do the one end of the positive that's still sticking out in the truck. Alright, we're done putting that on. And if you're wondering, this cable size is 70 millimeters squared, which I believe is about the same as 3/0. Not sure if that translates exactly, but this is what comes on the Unimog. And we ended up using 2/0 to go between the two batteries, which I've been told by the electric company that I got these from that would be sufficient. So the two cables, the positive on the truck is also this size, 70 millimeter squared, which means that this shrink tubing, I had to get 1-inch shrink tubing, and this Ancor stuff is really nice. Got it at West Marine, which first time in there, fantastic supply of stuff, but that stuff is not cheap. So anyway, let's move on. So this here is the positive lead, And you can see that they didn't have a gap where you can see copper, but it's just electrical tape. The black one was the same way. It was just black electrical tape. So we're going to replace that with shrink tubing. Alright, that is all done. I've also wire brushed the area where the negative is going to connect to the frame. So that's nice and clean. I also wire brushed the end of this lug. So that's nice and clean. So we get a good connection. Next up, we're just going to put the box in place here. Alright, we got the battery box in. That's mounted. Next up, I got these things, these rubber mats that are going to go under the battery. They're supposed to prolong the life of your battery. We're going to test that. So these are going to go down to the bottom, and they're going to be cut to fit that. So let's do that. Alright, we got these in. They're fairly thick. This is like the consistency of like a fishing lure. That's what it kind of feels like. It's pretty squishy, so I guess it should probably dampen the vibration quite a bit. On second thought, or after looking at this more, I probably could have got away with just one of these and just made strips, because really the battery's only going to be sitting on the top of this. I could have easily cut, 4 strips and put them down here, but I did not realize that until I've already cut this one and the packages are open, so here we are. Now one problem I could see from this is they might trap moisture. I do have a lot of holes here for the moisture to escape, but we shall see. If I start to see rusting of any sort, then maybe I'll switch to the strips anyway. Let's get the batteries in. Alright, batteries are in. These are tight. This bar runs all the way across here. Seems a little close to these posts, but I don't think there's much I can do about that. Alright, let's get the wires on. And we are done. These are both connected. You can see I've got my cover off. These are Blue Sea, by the way. These are great. For like $5 or $6 for a pair of black and white. And you do have to cut them if you're going to have multiple lugs. And I wasn't sure exactly how I should stack these, but I put the big one on the bottom, small one on the top. So I felt like that seemed like a stronger situation. And that's super tight. And cut this open so it can kind of slide over both. It's not, I could probably modify that a little bit more to make it fit better. Maybe I will in the future, but for now, the main thing is nothing's going to touch it. These fit perfectly, exactly how they're supposed to be made. One tube goes in there. Same thing here. Those are very simple, straightforward. It was a little tough to get these to cross over, so maybe think about that if you're doing this. Go a little bit longer with these connecting cables, so you have a little bit more freedom on what angles you can put them at. This might have been a little bit easier if I could twist these maybe straight up and have it loop around more. So this is the negative, which mirrors the positive. Comes in. I did it this way so that this here would line up, and then that goes off to the side. That's the big negative that goes to the frame right there. Sorry, the blue tarp is because we are also in the process of sanding the frame. So same thing on this one, just had to cut it so that it would fit over that. And then we're pretty good there, although the negative doesn't really matter. It just feels a little nicer to have them all covered. So let's put the box on and make sure that it fits. Another reason I wanted these rubber boots is because this always kind of worried me, putting this metal box on top and being so close to the terminal. Didn't want to accidentally create a link. Alright, we're good to go. It works. Battery is done. Now the last thing I need to do, well, two things actually, with this in the future. I need to run a line up to the center console, the shifting console, so I can put I have a cutoff switch. So that's going to be the negative that goes up there and then comes back down into the box. Actually, it'll come out of the box, go up to the switch, and then come back down to the frame. So I just need one extra cable length for that, and that'll be the 4/0. And then the second thing I need to do is run the winch lines, at least the positive, to this terminal here. And I guess I'm just going to have to stack that on top of the other two. So if anybody knows anything more about that, let me know. I'm going to have a fuse block attached in there for it, but I did read in the, I think it's ABCY or ACBY rules for boats, you're allowed to stack 4 lugs high on any one terminal. It seems a little sketchy to me, but I guess that's the way it's going to be, as far as I can tell, unless somebody else has a better idea. So anyway, that's it for now. Thanks for watching.